Hello, everyone. Eddie here again, and I want to talk today about the California fires. First, I want to say that my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims of the fire, as the people who have lost everything. Also goes to the firefighters, the first responders, law enforcement, elected officials, anyone who's really trying to make a difference to help contain the fires or coordinate the containment of the fires. I'm giving you prayers. I'm sending you prayers as well as money because making donations. Just that, I hope that we actually get through this. Someone actually asked, they want to know what my thoughts were on the fire. And I have to think back to all the things that have been said in the media since the fires broke out, from climate change to mismanagement of funds to poor infrastructure to all these different things. And that actually got me thinking about how we as a society, or more specifically, we as Americans, how we pay our taxes and what our expectation for those taxes are. So I really do hate to like kind of jump into the political side of things when there's a disaster like this, but it helps frame the context of why we're kind of where we're at. So first and foremost, I want to say is that to the conservative, the right conservative type leaning people who believe in, and this is just their belief. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, perhaps, but they believe in smaller government. They believe in less bureaucracy, and to some that could be a really really good attractive point. However, in such a national disaster like this, where California is literally burning, those same conservatives aren't saying they want small government. They want the full might of the federal government brought to bear to help them with this situation and to help rebuild. And we as a people, we as Americans, should want to see that too. Because when our brothers and sisters are hurting, and it doesn't matter whether you're left, right, independent, somewhere in the middle, it doesn't matter. You're still an American, and we want to do what's right for you. I think the very first thing that we need to do as an entire country is just, can we please put the debate to rest that climate change is a hoax? I mean, climate change is real. And if you're still holding on that it's some type of hoax, then I'm assuming we just can't really go any further. I can't have a discussion with you in good faith because climate change is real. At the end of the day, as long as we're on this planet, we are going to impact this planet. And some of those impacts could be negative, i.e., climate change. When I think about when I'm saying mismanagement and um, lack of resources, one of the things I heard was that the mayor, um, I'm not sure if she's the mayor of Palisade or not, but Karen Bass was the mayor. The first complaint was that she was on vacation and she should have cut her vacation short, which she did. But when she got there back to her state and she was being interviewed, the first thing they said was that, do you regret cutting the budget of the firefighters by $17 million? And so she had that look in her face like a deer in the headlight. Probably not her best moment, but understandably, probably not thinking about something like that. And to those thinking like, well, $17 million, that seemed really silly to cut. that got me thinking about how a lot of people often say, it's kind of one of those things where I hear a lot, was that, government spending is out of control, and that if you're in my household, i.e., said person who's using this as an example, if you're in my household, if I don't have the money, I don't buy something. I have to live within my budget. And I think that's very true to a certain extent, but most of those people who make those type of arguments say nothing about credit cards, whether or not they're running up credit card debt, which is what we do, and we expect revenue to come in. So what I'm getting at is that I don't doubt for 1 minute that in the process of her trying to manage the budget, that she had to make cuts to the fire department. Because think about it, maybe she wanted to cut, sometimes they want to cut education, or they want to cut, some of the infrastructures, or some of the new type of upgrades. And there's always someone vying and saying, hey, don't cut this. We need this. And we as a people now looking at it saying, well, that seemed really bad. This is our 2020 hindsight. That seems really bad with fires erupting. But what are we actually going to do about it? Because if if you don't have enough money coming in, and mind you, your money coming in is from your taxes, and you don't want your taxes raised, but you don't want anything else cut, what are the elected officials to do? What should we do? And I think that's a really important question that we need to really think about and address, and try to figure out some type of solution to it. Because honestly, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. We're always going to seem to have that problem where we need to figure out a way that we can get the most bang for our buck. And East also realized that sometimes some things have to be cut, or, we have to trim a little bit off. Now, ironically, again, hate to interject a little bit of politics, but I kind of have to, is that, when all these times Joe Biden said that the rich should pay their fair share, you know what rich paying their fair share would do in this scenario? That would mean more money in our coffers, which means more money to combat these types of things, which means more money in budgets to handle stuff like this. So it all impacts us. It really does. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to blame her for cutting the budget. I think she had to make a hard choice. It may not have been the right choice, but I for one do not have a crystal ball, so I can't say whether or not what should you cut. I think that we just need to figure out a way moving forward how we can address this. And the first thing is, again, we have to recognize that climate change is real. Now, what I want to do is I actually want to shift a little bit and go off like deep into the future. What a prediction I have. I feel like with all the insurance companies in California dropping policyholders and no longer going to insure it, what's going to happen, and this is again, this is my opinion, this is what I'm thinking, but what's going to happen is that you're going to see a lot of people can no longer afford to live in California. So you're going to see a great migration from these coastal cities, from these cities that are near the ocean, and they're going to move to the Midwest, to the inner parts. So they're going to move into these other states. What is the impact of that? I think the impact is that when they move into the other states, it will probably drive up the property value, probably make housing scarce. It'll be a big boon financially for the states, but it'll be a little bit difficult probably to find housing. What'll happen to these coastal cities? Well, the people who do have money, they'll be able to go back there because they don't have to worry about the insurance because they have money like that. So that it's easy to them. But the people who are at the perhaps low end, so maybe lower class, maybe even middle class, they're going to see probably like their property taxes slowly begin to rise as more and more people are coming, and as more wealthier people are maybe freezing them out of area. I think that is a real possibility, and unless we find a way to really help the entire nation, and when I say help, it means that if we have to get a handle on our budget and how we spend money in order to deal with some of these issues that we have. Now, I really don't have a plan per se. I just think we need to go into it with eyes wide open and realize that this is going to be the new normal. Until we start making good progress to reduce our impact on our environment, we're going to have to suffer with the consequences of climate change. And it's really sad watching some of those people talk about how they lost everything. And when they were talking, I didn't see Republicans or Democrats again or independents. I just saw American citizens hurting, and me thinking, what's going on? I mean, we should be able to help them, and I know help is on the way, but what's going on that even with the new administration coming in talking about possibly withholding funds, are we really going to do this? This 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 is a pretty big topic. So as you can tell, I have a lot of thoughts on the fires, and I just worry that this is just the beginning, and that things are going to get severe, because I think we're going to have problems in Florida and some of the other states. I mean, the reason I'm saying the great Midwest migration is because you're California, you're Florida, you're Texas. I think after a point, people aren't going to want to be in there, because it seems to be like Texas, for the life of me, can't seem to hold or maintain their power grid. So I would probably move northward to the Midwest. Same with Florida. So just something to think about. Again, my thoughts and my prayers are with everyone in California. And, I really do salute the first responders and the reporters and the emergency medical technicians doing the Lord's work and helping. So I just pray that it does work out, but we definitely need to come up with some type of solution to make sure that we can address some of these needs in a good way. At any rate, that's just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours in the comments section. And if you continue to watch, I will continue to produce. Thank you.